Have you ever had one of those moments, or maybe a few moments, where things just happen easy? You might receive a phone call out of the blue that gives you a new opportunity. You might hear from someone who you've been thinking of. This is called synchronicity. Synchronicity, as defined by Carl Jung, is the meaningful coincidence of events that appear unrelated but are connected through their symbolic or emotional significance rather than causality. It reflects an alignment between the external world and inner psyche, revealing a deeper interconnected order of reality. When looking at the relationship with our unconscious self, for example, that is also the relationship with our psyche. It becomes a very interesting area of ourself to navigate. And this is where we can access our relationship with the universe and with the unseen patterns in life. The mysterious. This is where we can drop into radical trust and access this thing called synchronicity. When our life is in more flow, when we have more trust, when we're trying not to control the outcomes and have those really hard expectations on life and on ourselves, that is when we are in flow with synchronicity. And that is when the universe is really trying to send us signals and trying to guide us through these modes of synchronicity. When we are accessing our higher self, when we are in flow, when we are letting go of the control or being influenced by fear, we are going to see more of these synchronistic events. They're going to show up more frequently. And we're also going to be more comfortable in between times when we are in the moment of maybe integration and in the moment of creation. Synchronicity happens on kind of its own clock. But again, when we are in radical trust, we will be open to receive the guidance that we need at the perfect time. Like I said, this requires a lot of trust. It requires letting go of our old ways of being and doing and thinking. The methods of control, the methods of certainty, the methods of holding on and having those expectations, and the methods of fear, truthfully. When we are in fear, we hold on, we have control, and we are all kind of programmed this way. This is part of society, but we are now in an amazing time right now where we can deprogram what we have been programmed and to find more trust and ease and flow. Thus, of course, accessing our psyche, the relationship with our unconscious self, and being open to the magic, being open to the relationship with the universe. Thus, of course, welcoming in experiences of synchronicity. First of all, how can we miss synchronicity? How can we miss these signs from the universe, the nudges, the guidance, these magical, really interesting moments that can show up in our life? Easy, by being up here constantly, by being in stress, by being in worry, by complicating our lives. This goes back into the relationship of fear versus our higher self. Now, this also ties into work of Joe Dispenza. He talks about this often as well. When we are in alignment and in a relationship with our higher self, there is no fear. Fear is a byproduct of many experiences that we have gone through, in that experiences we have gone through firsthand, experiences we have observed, experiences that we may not even know where they came from, maybe inherited beliefs or beliefs that we have brought in through incarnation. We all experience fear. So when we move out of fear, when we regain trust with our higher self, with the universe, with life, with ourself, with our inner truth, we will be open to more of these synchronistic events. So when we miss them, we are basically operating out of fear. The universe is constantly sending us signals. They can come in big ways. They can come in very subtle ways. They could also come in ways of our relationship with our psyche, with our unconscious self, having those nudges and those aha moments and the epiphanies and the ideas. Those are also very synchronistic events. They do come from our higher self. It comes from when we are in a time of relaxation, when we're not putting the pressure and expectations on ourselves, and when we're not really searching. It does require, like I said, a lot of trust and letting go of old ways, that old habits we have been programmed or we've been used to operating by. So the old ways is being in our mind, over-rationalizing, overthinking, needing answers now, having a solution. This also comes from control, wanting to know the outcome, wanting to control the outcome, wanting to control the here and now, having safety and security, which actually is removing us from the true feeling of safety and security. Safety and security comes from an inner knowing that everything is okay and that everything is working out just fine. But due to past programming, we can hold on to the patterns of wanting control in order to give us some sense of stability and security when it actually isn't giving us that sustained sense of stability and security and that deeper sense of stability and security that is required to be in more trust and to be in a place of true creation in our life. So when we miss synchronicity, it means that our gaze is downward. It is to the grindstone. It is working hard, being in stress, overthinking, overanalyzing, feeling that we need to get things done in order to be productive, being in a more analytical and rational way of living rather than in the receptivity or sensory aspect or in the creative aspect, in the flow. When we are connected with our higher self, there is no resistance. There is flow, there is trust, there is very little stress, if any at all, when you're really connected with your higher self. There is fluidity, there is flow, there is receiving, there is creating. When we are working really, really hard, we're not receiving. We're in a mode of perpetuated by fear, feeling that we need to be on in order to be doing something, in order to be productive, in order to have some kind of result to show that, to validate our hard effort and to show that our hard work is paying off in some way, shape, or form. However, we are also cutting ourselves off from receiving fully and trusting that there is more to our existence than just hard work, than being stressed out, than always having to be on and always having to be rationalizing and intellectualizing our way through life. So how do we open ourselves up to synchronicity and break these patterns so that we can have more trust with our higher self and so that we can be open for these synchronistic events? The first one is going to be opening the relationship with the unconscious and the psyche. This is part of ourselves that I talk about a lot because this is the relationship we can often overlook. It takes a while to understand the unconscious, to understand the relationship with our deeper self, and to turn our gaze inward and to feel inward. We have to take time to do this. It takes a lot of quiet time. It takes a lot of alone time. It takes a lot of inner reflection to feel into the unconscious. If we do not open the relationship with our unconscious self, thus our psyche, we will miss the opportunities of life, the bigger opportunities, the bigger flow, the bigger creation, the synchronicities, and again, align us with greater trust and removing ourselves from the grips of our unconscious patterns, thus, of course, also fear. The other way to access this relationship or to create a relationship with synchronicity is through meditation. Meditation is going to allow you to access your unconscious self, thus, of course, your psyche and the relationship with the universe. It can move you into a very expansive mode of functioning, turning on your senses and turning off the mind so you can access a greater experience with the universe, with all of life, and within yourself. Through meditation, you'll also be able to address the fear of what is creating tension and stress and pressure and urgency and worry in life. When you are tuned in, you'll be able to move through these experiences, these more difficult experiences, with greater ease and more flow. This is a step-by-step effort. This does require us to be mindful of the layers that we have to work through, understanding that these are layers. We all have them. Sometimes we have to go through many layers in order to find more peace and balance and flow, and that's okay. But just being mindful of the process and being mindful of when fear is taking over, when there is worry and resistance versus when there is more flow, and accepting the flow and accepting the good stuff when it appears in your life, meaning these synchronicities, or just feeling at peace and at harmony. That is truly all you need to do, is find that peace and that stillness, not by force, but by doing the work and going into the fear when it shows up, understanding where it comes from, and navigating your way through those moments to find, again, that peace and that balance within. Another method for achieving the relationship with synchronicity, being open for synchronicity, is incorporating trust into your life, being very mindful of where you can incorporate trust into maybe your future, into yourself, into love, into relationships, into your knowing of who you are, your limitless potential, and what trust feels like. Also knowing where there's resistance, where there is maybe barriers and blocks towards people, towards life, where there could be a bit of maybe isolation or removal from people, from relationships, and from the outer world. If there is resistance from the unconscious, holding people and life at bay, and also creating behavioral patterns that resemble a lack of trust, then there definitely is going to be a lack of fluidity with synchronicities. And when synchronicities do show up, there may be also fear or resistance to accepting those synchronicities fully. Sometimes good opportunities can show up and offer an amazing experience. But if we have fear and if we're not trusting fully, maybe others or the universe, then we may resist these opportunities that show up. We may find excuses. We might push people away or push the opportunity away. We might self-sabotage ourselves, or we might not be open to even entertaining the opportunity at hand. This is also going to go into another exercise, is being very mindful of the mind, the mindset, what the thoughts are trying to tell you. Is there over rationalizing, trying to complicate a situation too much, looking for maybe answers by force or through a lot of internal analytical inquiry rather than feeling and sensing? The feeling and sensory aspect is crucial for us to navigate synchronicities. Like I said, synchronicities might show up. We might miss it because we may be over intellectualizing it. We may be over rationalizing it, and we may truly miss the larger nature, the bigger story that it is providing. Also, too, mindset, our thoughts can shift our perceptions. This also comes from our false beliefs in the unconscious. Our perceptions can be shifted in a way where we can skew the synchronicity. We might not be able to see it for the fullness that it is offering, or for the authenticity that it is offering, or from the purity that it is offering. If we have unresolved fears within our unconscious, we may skew the perception on reality and view the synchronicity as maybe something to be afraid of, or maybe something to be angry at, or maybe something to be fearful of, or maybe something to resist altogether. So synchronicities can show up also with challenges, but if we see life as challenges rather than opportunities, we will skew our perception on that synchronistic moment to possibly miss a bigger opportunity that the universe is wanting to give us. And finally, another tip here is awareness always, being aware of the thoughts, the emotions, the body especially, being aware of the bigger picture, taking time to gain new perspectives and go a bit deeper into maybe some of the reactions to these synchronistic events. Like I said, some of these synchronistic events can be magical and bring in a bit of a rush or a bit of realization or an epiphany or something to be excited for. And then maybe shortly after, there could be a follow-up of fear, of uncertainty, of pushing something away, of maybe even thinking of the worst case outcome. So again, synchronicities are here to work with you. The universe is here to work with you. You are here to work with the universe. All we need to do is look at some of the patterns, these underlying patterns and fragments within the unconscious, to make sense of where fear resides, where the resistance resides, so that we can open up this relationship even greater. A few more practices that you can incorporate to align with synchronicity. Engage in self-reflection. So spend time exploring your thoughts, emotions, and experiences through practices like journaling, dream analysis, or meditation. This can help you better understand the deeper patterns and symbols that influence your life. By working with symbols, you can explore these symbols and themes that appear in your life, whether through art, dreams, or personal experiences. These can act as guides to better understand yourself and your place in the world. By facing and embracing hidden parts of yourself, you will recognize and work with these aspects that you can often avoid or deny. By embracing these parts, you can move towards greater wholeness and authenticity. And of course, trust your intuition. Develop a sense of trust in your inner guidance. Being open to the unexpected and following intuitive nudges can help you align with opportunities and deeper meaning in life. Pursue activities, relationships, and paths that resonate deeply with your core values. Finding and following what feels meaningful creates a sense of harmony between your inner self and the world around you. How does it feel to be in flow with the universe? How does it feel to welcome synchronicities? Well, this is going to, again, align with how you feel being in relationship with your highest self. How does it feel to trust? How does it feel to be in flow with life without anger, resentment, pressure, fear, worry, control? How does it feel to let go of all of that and find flow and fluidity and ease? That is how it feels. And like I said, synchronicity can show up, but it can bring a challenge if our perception is tilted a little bit towards fear. We might not be able to see our way through the synchronistic event. We might miss it altogether. But again, when we are in flow, when we are in trust, when we are in relationship with our higher self, we will definitely see it, we will welcome it, and we will walk into it. We will welcome it into our life. We will explore it. We will be curious by it, and we will welcome it with open arms. This is also going to tie into gratitude, being grateful for these events that show up in our life. When we are in flow and when we are in trust and welcoming the synchronicities of life, it means also that our heart is open. A lot of us have lost trust with the universe. This is a byproduct of history. We are in a time now where we can build trust and regain trust within ourselves. This does take some time. But when our heart is open, when we have regained trust with the universe and, of course, with our higher self, this also is going to be reflective in relationships in our life, in how we navigate life, and our ability to receive without pushing people away or making up excuses or sabotaging something good. Constant and continual awareness, being aware of the thoughts, being aware of the words of what one is saying. The words that you say give you your answers always. What you're saying to yourself, what you're saying outwardly. Also, of course, paying attention to the body when synchronistic events show up, or if you feel that you are shut down perhaps and not receiving fully the gifts from the universe. Gratitude is going to be a big part of this, being grateful for events that show up in your life, big or small. Even if someone shows up randomly who you were thinking of, that is a synchronistic moment. If you also see the numbers, the 111, 222, 333, those are also moments of alignment where you are becoming more aligned with the universe. So have fun with it. Remain in alignment by seeing the numbers, by welcoming in new opportunities if they feel in alignment. Sometimes we'll have opportunities show up that might not be in alignment and might not feel right. Your inner guidance always is your compass. Paying attention to how certain situations feel, how certain people feel, how life feels. Is there fear behind it, or is it an intuitive nudge telling you that this path, this opportunity is not yours to take? So it's going to be up for you to decide internally, and do not be afraid of taking a chance. Do not be afraid of opening your heart. Do not be afraid of saying yes to some of these situations, because truthfully, a lot of opportunities are going to come with challenges, but challenges are in the eye of the beholder, meaning challenges are based on the way that we see and perceive life. We can walk through anything with more ease and trust and overcome challenges and see them as opportunities. Challenges will not really necessarily be challenges after a while when you are in more flow and in alignment. By seeing moments of synchronicity and alignment with gratitude, you are allowing yourself to see and receive more. So don't forget to be grateful. Don't forget to acknowledge these moments, and don't forget to have fun. This life is an experience. When we have a lot of fear and resentment and anger within ourselves, we miss the fun in life. We miss our ability to create. And then, of course, these synchronistic moments. But we are here to have an experience. So let's make the best of it and have fun and welcome in these magical moments when they arrive in our life. Working in alignment with the universe and with synchronicity is a new experience for a lot of us. We have to first unwind and deprogram some of these programs and these patterns that we have within our unconscious, and even barriers into our unconscious that prevent us from seeing what the universe is trying to send us, or even the internal nudges or knowings that we have within ourselves can easily create a very strong barrier into our unconscious self, thus cutting off the relationship with our psyche. But the more flow that we can find within ourselves, again, opening up these channels within, spending time alone, meditating, cultivating awareness, practicing gratitude, and being open with trust you will have more flow and you will see these events showing up more and more. And also just intuitively, you will know that you are on the right path and that everything is working out just fine and that you are exactly where you need to be. All right, so I'm going to leave it here. I'm wishing you all the best. Don't forget to find me over at the Odyssey of Self for additional content. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Enjoy welcoming in the synchronicities, the alignment with the universe and your higher self, and take care.